Healthy spiritual practices and regular rhythms allow us to slow down, to gain insight, connect to love, and energize into purposeful endeavors. Healthy spirituality involves habits and rhythms. I like my regular rhythms and routines, those that mark the beginning and the ending of my workday, like a regular run, and those that settle me and provide meaning, like attending my church here in Pasadena. But there are other rituals that mark rites of passage, like graduations and bar mitzvahs. Even the ritual of celebrating birthdays reminds us of the importance of the lives of the people we love. Spiritual practices and rituals allow us to experience transcendent emotions like love or gratitude. Whether our practices include prayer or religious service, hiking in the local mountains, putting our feet in the sand, meditation, reflecting on sacred texts or acts of service, there are so many ways to practice spirituality. I think of practices in 3 categories for our spiritual health. The first is practices for regulating our emotions and resting, such as breathing, mindfulness, singing, which I can't do, alone time, taking Sabbath, and also practices that elevate our emotions, practices like walking in nature, considering what is morally good. These are spiritual practices for regulating, and they help us actually be more relational and point us toward living into our values rather than just our raw emotional responses. The next category of spiritual practices help us reflect. Things like journaling, practicing the examen or Lectio Divina, reading scripture, praying, or even going on pilgrimages fall into this category. The third category helps us get better at relating. Such practices include, again, service and charity, listening to another, meeting with a small group, mentoring another person, practicing and really working at forgiveness. Also meta practices of compassion towards others. And also psychology offers us really great self-compassion practices. If you don't have spiritual practices, it's hard to have a spiritual life. Traditional religions offer many ways and opportunities to practice, whether individually or collectively. So for those on their own spiritual journeys, or in the process of leaving or deconstructing their faith of origin, they want to consider these 3 categories of practices, thinking about how they regulate emotions, how you reflect on meaning, and how you cultivate capacities for relating. These are necessary for spiritual growth and thriving. Psychology also really helps us appreciate that we are really different as individuals. And consequently, we need different spiritual practices in different seasons of life. What individual and what communal practices do you regularly engage? And what might you need to add at this point in your life?